Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil, and we are here today to talk about Smee and the kit reveal that was posted by EA Games. I want to just go right over to this kit reveal. This is not on the forums, this is on EA Games website here for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. What will I use Pirates for? Pirates will be an allowed faction in the upcoming raid. While most will not be in the game upon the raid's launch, they will show up fashionably late to swoop in and take advantage of the chaos. The idiocy with this never ceases to amaze me. You are flat out telling us, hey, we're not going to have all these characters released in time for you to get them for the raid, but don't worry. And the frustrating part of that is the wording of this sentence tells me that the characters won't even be released when the raid is here. Not that they're not even going to be farmable. They won't be released. So there's a legitimate chance that this raid could be 5 months in before some of these pirates are released to be farmable to the rest of the community. And that, in my opinion, is completely unacceptable. This raid now is 4 new teams. Four. This Pirates, Darkside Clones, the new Bad Batch, and Jedi Vanguard. That is an insane cost of admittance. And if it was, hey, stuff was going to be here, fine. I think a lot of us were okay with that. Like, 3 felt a lot, but as an endgame player, you're like, whatever. And even for this, I'm going to get them. It's not a big deal for me. But for a lot of other players in the game who were hoping for 2 much more friendly factions that we probably already had, sucks to suck. Like, take your bicycle and go home. I don't know how to tell you that this is good, because it's not. This is awful for the game, and I guarantee you this will force players to leave. Because they'll just feel like Capital Games is continuing to move the goalposts because they can't keep up with this era system that they've started. And I need to kind of do a whole separate video on the eras and why I think they're not really working how I would have hoped. But let's take a pause here and give a shout to the channel members for their continued support. If you guys are ever interested in joining, that link is below, along with a link to the Discord server. Guys, I really appreciate all of you. And as I always tell you guys, for my channel members, I don't stream a lot. But a lot of people like roster reviews or advice, and they get a lot of advice just because they're there. They can ask me questions. But when they want a roster review, they just DM me and it happens. That's the way I like to handle them that way. And I think you get a much more genuine product that way. We get to have a lot more back and forth. So, again, guys, make sure that link is down below. But let's get in here. Let's keep ranting about Capital Games, just how ridiculous this is. All right. So, like I said, the Pirates aren't even going to be here. And this is not a case of they're not farmable, because I feel like some of the other raids, maybe some things have come in where they're not quite farmable yet. These guys won't even be released, right? It literally says, while most will not be in the game upon the raid launch. In the game. That literally means, that's like the last clone trooper here, right? You think, the final clone trooper that we don't have is not in game yet, and they're a part of the raid. That's what they're saying with these pirates. And we got that release schedule of leading up to the next legendary. So you think in that release schedule, which is coming up for the next couple of months, if those are pirates, the raid's going to be happening, then some of them, they said most will not be in the game. I mean, that is crazy. And you got to think about it too, that Smee won't be here. This is the first conquest cycle with Smee. So, you've got, count it 3 months or so, right? 2 more months, the month of May here, June, July, till he's in the game. I mean, it feels so fast. It feels like this was rushed. And I feel like this is a problem with their era system, that they're trying to release all these characters and they kind of got caught up and they're working on the characters and they're like, oh, kick the raid down the road. And then it's like, we've got to release the raid. And nope, well, this faction isn't in the game yet. I don't, I'm really lost for words here. I think this is so bad. I think this will cause players to leave the game. I think this will outrage. I'd say the community who will probably fear this, get pissed off the most, is your middle game whales. I think your end game guys, they're going to be like, it is what it is. They'll get them and it's going to be fine. It's those mid game whales. It's those players who are in the middle of the game who've unloaded their wallet for Dark Side clones, planning to unload their wallet for Jedi Vanguards, thinking they're going to be in great shape for the raid, and now you've got one more team to build. You've got more stuff to whale on. I think this is extremely disingenuous from Capital Games, and I feel like this should have been communicated a lot sooner. The communication, getting it now, I'm very curious to see what this means, particularly for your Jedi Vanguard. See, I think Dark Side clones, they're there, but I think for Jedi Vanguard, this could potentially tank revenue. Because what I'm seeing, what a lot of players were thinking is with these Dark Side clones, I'm going to work on these Empire Dark Side clones, and I'm going to be there for the raid, and then maybe, we'll get the Jedi Vanguard up and along the way. But now, you're going to have all these pirates. You got to have the pirates ready. And if you don't have your pirates, you're down however many points that you're going to need for the raid. So, I feel like this could keep players from wanting to whale on the Vanguard when you think about it, right? Because if you're a player, and I use Egnards. Egnards is probably thinking the same thing I am here. You skip Jedi Vanguard if you're a smart whale. You skip Vanguard because you're going to have time to farm them. You're going to have time to build them. It's the pirates you're going to need to invest your money into to try and get them as soon as possible so you can, get your raid scores up. So I don't like this at all. I think this is extremely disingenuous, and I think this is a bad direction for the game. I really hope, Meathead can get some communication from the top down explaining why this is happening, and is this something that we can expect? Is it something that we're going to expect that factions aren't even going to be available for us to use? How long are we going to get this raid for? Like, if this is a 9-month raid and pirates are missing for half of it, like, what the hell? So is this raid going to go on longer that you're going to make up for the time that we can't use an intended team for the raid? Like, this, I feel like, and it makes me laugh because this came from EA's website, not the forums. It came from EA's website. So you're kind of like, what is going on? But it feels extremely like this is information. I don't know. It feels like this was information that they would not have wanted communicated this way. I could be wrong on that, but it just, yeah, never ceases to amaze me, guys. Listen, here's my final thought on the matter. If this is the direction of CG of Capital Games, I think this will, kill a lot of spending and a lot of whaling. Because there's a very real chance that obtaining the best possible score in the raid will not be possible without investing in either Relic 9 for all these other things to make up for missing pirates, and most players don't have that capability. And again, with content, they have to balance. This is the balance. I always use, the ocean as the example, right? You can't take away all the little fish, right? You can't take away all the plankton, because now there's nothing for, the small fish to eat. So what happens to the small fish? The small fish die. And then as there's, no small fish, there's no medium fish, and there's no large fish, and there's no whales and sharks and krakens, right? You need balance. You need all of those. So if you drive away all the little things, everything else above it collapses. So I really think this is bad. I hope for some further clarification. I hope they make them extremely accessible right away, or else this raid could really fall flat on its face unless it's going to be here for a significant amount of time to make up for when we couldn't use pirates in it. So that's the end of the video, folks. Enough ranting. Let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, comment. I'm not even getting into the kit. I'm not going to cover that right now. I'm too pissed off. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all. May the force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.